episode of Wise Up with Coach Wise. I talked to Coach Kevin Wilson out of Camden County. We talked about a variety of things. We went back to the early mid 2000s all the way to the day from as far as recruiting, the do's and the don'ts, camps, the way that people claim kids, a lot of different things. I hope y'all enjoy the show. We came down on the charter bus. Boy, I thought I was doing it big time back there, Kevin. And you guys were down there, but it was all about competing. And we always talk, man, those days. Then I remember we left that camp and we went to MVP camp. Let me just go on to clear the air. We was MVP camp, y'all and us, because from Atlanta to Florida to Valdosta, we was at all of them. Because you remember that year we were down there in Orlando, and man, I
Yes.
think about today, you had Derrick Henry there. You had Josh Dobbs there. You had DeAndre Wise there. You had JJ there. And you probably could name even more star studded.
Bryce Ramsey.
Bryce
Yeah.
Ramsey, right. Right. You had everybody there in that one place. And but what they did to you was a combination of South Georgia and Florida because you're so close to Jacksonville. And I
Yeah.
was coming up, from the Atlanta area, man, but we saw all that talent, but that talent that was on that field, man, them boys out there grinding. It wasn't no showboat. And what's so crazy about recruiting today versus then, if you got an offer, it had to come through Chad Rusty or Scout.com for them to promote it. But what you think about now, how the social media is and everybody just throwing offers out there and claiming offers, man?
I kind of like the day because it put the power in the players' hands. It kind of put the powers in the players' hands. And Rusty and Chad, them, I love them to death. But like you say, we put them on. To be honest, like
Right.
they got on because of the guys that we had and consistently had,
Correct.
not over 1 year, but over years and years and years. And it's amazing how they done blew up. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's amazing. But I do love that the kids have a chance to have that power in their hands because I just go back to when we were in school in the 80s,
Right.
late 80s or whatever. And and that's the reason that we do some of the stuff that we do is because we didn't have that same open avenue coming
Correct.
from South Georgia. They were going into Jacksonville. They weren't coming down. They're going to flying to Jacksonville. Coaches go where they want to go. You're from where?
I was from Millersville at the time, but I done migrated up
Basketball.
into the A now.
Yeah, yeah, but what I'm saying is at the time the basketball was the king in
Correct.
Millersville.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? And so to look at playing football, it was a waste of time to be
Correct.
honest to play football because you weren't gonna make it.
Correct. You exactly right, man. And then for it to go from there. So when I see these guys now not understanding the old school method, even the 2009 where you had to go through writers and you had to beg for stars, and that's the only way you really thought you could talk to colleges. But now
Yeah.
the kid got the power in his hand, and then when he got the power in his hand, he don't even know what to do with it. Ain't that
You
funny?
don't, you don't have no idea what to do with it.
Right. Another topic I want to bring up, we're gonna get deep. I'm just trying to get it started. Then this is where I think yourself and myself don't get credit for it. That a lot of people don't know is I remember when Joe and Isaiah came out with the first Rising Senior, and I know they was contacting you out of South Georgia for players. I had a couple of players that we was getting, but between you and I, and maybe one or two other people, we helped build those rosters they had. Can you talk about some of the players that you gave them that was in the let's say the Rising Senior family back there? I think that's when they started at what 2012, 11, 12,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that.
I mean, we had Jared Davis went on to be a first round draft choice. Stetson Bennett. I mean, all these guys went through the Rising Senior, but early on in the Rising Senior, like, dude, Joe sent me like hundreds of huddles, dog, and we
Right.
went through the huddles. We went through the huddle film, like went through huddle film to find kids, and back then the basis behind the Rising Senior was this: to find rural kids in rural areas that didn't have the same opportunities and
Correct.
give them the opportunities, maybe against some guys that they say were the guys.
Right.
And man, when them boys showed up like Montravius Adams
Right.
and Carl Lawson, and man, nobody knew who those guys was
Nobody had a
until
clue.
until that game.
Right.
Until that game, and those boys blew up, man. And they came. Milton wasn't, it wasn't what it is today. And
Nowhere
so,
near. Nowhere
right.
near.
So for those guys to come from that, from actually somebody watching film and dissecting film and seeing what it looked like and saying, "Hey, this kid can play," or actually seeing this kid play. I
Right.
like seeing a kid play more than the film, but you still can tell a lot from the film. But like if you just go to a game and watch a kid, man, it's undeniable sometimes.
Right. I was thinking that I think that was the 2012, 13 when Bryce Ramsey and them, Bryce Potter had been in it, but he dropped
Right.
out and we got Josh Dobbs in and Eddie Prince in. We left that night, Calvin, and drove all the way to Orlando, Florida, man, with Josh Dobbs, my son DeAndre, all them just to go to a dang, I think it was a rival camp. Remember when they used to have it down there
Yeah.
in Florida?
In
But we was
Orlando.
on that
Yeah.
road, man, and then care nothing about it. Only thing we cared about is getting those guys. Look, because speaking of rising seniors again, man, I think Isaiah and Joe when they first started that, but they started something. You know that
Greatest
that
thing,
that
the
that
greatest
thing.
thing happened in Georgia at the time.
Correct, correct, and it really set Jordan on fire because you were talking about your guys, but the Alvin Kamara was in it,
No
the
doubt.
Josh Dobbs, the DeAndre Wise, the Kabamalo, man, all these guys that really we knew their name, but we didn't know what they were gonna do once all of them got on the same field. And then what I love about it, it was a bond. It was a
Yeah.
bond with all the players because I know DeAndre talk about JJ from down your way, but that had to be the fastest kick returner
Yes,
cat I ever
yes.
seen in my life, man. But people don't
Yeah.
know, about those days and those things, and that still was part of that recruiting. That was still a part of what I'm gonna say the pureness of the game because if you was in that game, and I can say this, if they came out of the Calvin Wilson camp or they came out of the Andre Wise camp, hey, they knew we was bringing number dogs in there. We want
Man,
number dogs in there, and if they won't go hunt, we were gonna leave them next to the road.
it's still that way today.
Right, right, right,
I'm
right.
just saying, man. Listen, this is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up about dogs. They say a dog is a man's best friend, and I took that thing serious as a kid. Like if my dog, if I had a Chihuahua, like he had to fight the German
correct,
Shepherd dog,
correct,
and if he didn't win, I'm leaving him there. Now, if he find his way back home, he get another shot, and
correct.
I'm gonna give him something that he might can win. But
What?
all I'm saying is he got to make his way
Right.
back home. If he don't make his way back home, then
But but
mm,
but Captain, I want to throw this at you because I don't know you remember this. But when we was at the MVP camps, boy, me, you, Dundee, White, all of it were talking our guys up. I remember one of my guys went against yours. You said, "Why? You sure? You
he gonna
sure?
put it
You
on him.
want it?" Boy, we from South Georgia, but we were just as competitive as the kids, Kevin. But this is what I want to get back to on the next level, but it was always a thing of respect. I remember just talking about respect for one another. We were coming down to Savannah with TYGTAL to do a little showcase, and Coach White didn't know who you were, and
Right.
you called me and you said, "Hey, you stepping on my territory." I immediately called White and said, "Man, shut that junk down. We don't want no problem." And I think we moved our date, but that was out of respect, Kevin, and
Yeah.
and loyalty, not trying to be better or nothing. But these days, I think people that do what we do or people do what they say we do, it ain't no loyalty, man. Everybody cutthroat instead of working together because at the end of the day is one common goal for the kids to get where they need to go. And we don't care what school they go to and where they came from, all of my kids.
Well, what I think is, man, it's like being a parent. You know what I'm saying? As far as getting one of these kids, sometimes you want to be a superstar over the kid. Sometimes the guys who listen, I tell these kids all the time, look, man. Now, one thing, listen, I don't care what nobody say. I can tell talent. I can tell
Right.
talent. It don't take long. I can tell what it look like. But I ain't did what I did is put you in front of the right people.
Right.
Like if you garbage, you gonna be garbage.
Garbage is garbage. You're gonna get thrown in the trash. You right.
I can't sell no garbage, but if you can play, and I try to tell them, don't let your high school coaches, don't let any of us try to tell you that we got you this. No, we
Right.
put you in the front of the right people. Your talent got you there.
Correct.
And I think some of these guys who have these guys or go after these guys who some people already have,
Correct.
they want to put their self on there.
Right.
And they want to wait. This is the problem. They want to wait that you done develop them or you done put them out there, and now they see them, and now they want to come on, and now they now
Right.
they this, now they that.
Right.
When they know it's not true, and it shows. It shows in the finished product. We had a kid. I made a kid. I made this kid a freshman All American, a preseason freshman All American before he played his first game,
Okay.
and he ended up jumping ship, and he ended up not being who he should have
Should have been.
became.
Right.
And so I talked to him the other day. Kid been shot up a couple of times and everything. Kid told me say, he been shot. Them boys shot him, left him dead or whatever. And he said, man, he said, man, if I'd have stayed with y'all,
Right. Right.
if I'd have just stayed with y'all, man, I'd have been good. And the staying with us wasn't the part of like what we could have done for him. It was just he understood the mentality.
Right.
Like we was
The
gonna grind.
the
We,
standard. The
yeah,
standard that you
we was
held them
gonna
to.
grind it. We was
Correct.
holding. They were flying him out the 7-on-7. Oh, he getting off the plane. That when he played, he come over to us. Man, I want to play with y'all. Like, can't play with us. You can't do them people like that. Them people done
Right.
flew you in here. But the thing is, like, your mentality that you're around shows how far you gonna go. Not just in football, because sometimes football just run out, but in
Correct.
life, as far as how you can fight through some stuff, and you have to be with people with dog mentalities. You can't be with people who's giving you everything,
Correct.
or it's not gonna happen.
Correct. Since you touched on that, let's go here with this. People think, Kevin, you, me, it's all about football. They don't understand we got a Y syndrome. They don't understand we give back to these kids and trying to keep these guys on the straight and narrow. And that brings me to this. I remember I got a phone call from Central Michigan. See, you remember this. And they
Yeah,
said,
my God.
man, we recruiting this kid out of South Georgia named Tyrone Scott. We think something ain't right with this kid because this dude out of Florida called us and was saying, I immediately jumped on the phone with you and said, Calvin, who is Tyrone Scott? Me
Yeah,
and you
my
was on
God.
three-way with the Central Michigan coach, which I don't know you realize, but the coach we was on the phone with is now the head coach at Michigan. That was
Well, he
Shamar Moore, the head coach
well,
at Michigan
Shamar,
now. That's who that
well,
was we was on the
Shamar
phone.
need, well, he need to be hollering at me.
Right, right. He need to be hollering back at us. But look, but people don't know how we straightened that situation out for that young
Man,
man to get where he went because you had to, we called you and you said, nah, man, this is the deal with the kid. This and that. Do you remember? Go ahead, Gav. I know you got
yeah,
something to say on
yeah,
that one.
because no, you know what that brings me to today. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to the guy who doing all this fake stuff. Got these people done took these people money. He took my homeboy money down in Warner Robins. Took my
Oh
homeboy,
man.
and
Oh
I'm
man.
like, dude, how you gonna fall for that? And your son already play ball, and you got me and some more people. You could just pick up the phone and
Correct.
call.
Correct.
But it goes to that because the same kind of deal. Dude calling from Florida
Right.
trying to get money for the kid that
Right.
he don't even know.
Correct.
And listen, and it ain't even the money time like it is now.
Correct, correct. But you know what, you bringing it back, but you know what was crazy about that? So when they told us at Central Michigan that the dude said because Tyrone committed to him that
Yeah.
they owe him a check. I called the dude down in Florida. I said, hey bro, you commit suicide. You commit recruiting suicide. I said, all these dudes it's the same. All these coaches the same because you remember they put him on blast. He
Yep.
put all out there on the what we said the Facebook and the MySpace
Yep.
and said that Central Michigan coaches is garbage. But this dude was trying to represent kids down in Florida, but he was killing himself in his own brand because all them coaches were the same guy. And by the way, just to throw shots out to you and give you a shot, I seen Tyrone play for what the DC Defenders in the
Yes, sir.
in the spring football league now. But those
Sir.
are the conversations and those are the stories people don't know about guys like you and me and the ones we done saved or I ain't even gonna say save. We made walk by our standard to get where they trying to go.
Hey, do you remember what was that guy name? Do you remember that guy
It,
name?
it was it,
That
it was it
brother.
was JUCO preps or something out of Florida. I ain't man. Listen, after I told that guy, do not you commit suicide, man. I ain't want to have nothing else to do with that guy because all them coaches he was talking about, them were buddies, and he was
I'm just
asking for
glad.
money.
I'm just glad. I'm just glad I ain't never run into
Right?
him.
You know, he was asking for money, Calvin, before money was even out there. He basically told him, "Hey, man." And then at that time, this was so funny. He was asking for money, but you know, we had the certification, and we could have got paid for the
Yeah, yeah,
data.
yeah,
But
yeah,
this dude, and then come to find out, like you said earlier, this dude seen Tyrone at an AAU basketball tournament in Florida and took a picture with him and said that was his kid. That's what ended up happening. And at the end, but people don't know these stories, Kevin. So to me, man, I wish the younger generation of coaches, younger generations of guys like we do, if they would just call sometime and sit down and say, hey, let's do a
yeah.
round table. I know you. Anytime I got a question, I call you, you call me. It ain't no
Right,
big deal because we trying to give back to our society and help the young crowd not go through the things we went through in life to get to be mature that we are today. And that's what it's about with both of us. And that's why, you know, I love you like a brother. Anytime anybody call me, say anything about South Georgia, I just called you the other night about your nephew. I said,
yeah,
man, you know this kid? And hey, he made a commitment. Done deal. You know,
yeah.
so those type of things, man, that I think people need to learn. And then now let's go here. You
Hmm.
mentioned about our friend that's all over the news, and you know I pray for that brother to be real with you, Kevin. I pray for him on both sides because again, that's another brother went wrong, and that's another brother that make what we do look bad because
Well, I'm
everybody
gonna say
think.
this. I'm gonna say this. He ain't my friend because I don't know
Well, I ain't saying friend, but what I'm trying to say is
him.
what
I don't know dude.
let me say it like this, okay?
Yeah.
Um, People stereotype us because of
Oh yeah,
what
yeah,
he did. So if me and you say we helping a kid, we get a bad name that we
yeah. Hmm.
scamming
Right.
people. And I ain't never scammed nobody. I tell them like
No.
it is. Look, this is the way we do things. This, and that. Like you said earlier, if you jump ship, that's your fault. But I'm gonna be who I am, and we're gonna do it the way we do. And if you want to be a part of us, either we're gonna win with you, either we're gonna win without you. But we're not gonna
Right.
get mad that we didn't win, that you left us and went somewhere else. But my
No.
problem with his situation, though, Kevin, and maybe you can explain this to me, bro. I ain't never had nobody give me six, seven, eight, nine, $10,000 and tell me to do what I want. Boy, I had to beg for 500.
Cause I need something right now.
Right,
this,
right,
but this is the thing, man. The way he did it, especially with my homeboy explained to me like because he used Dion and used his own son
right.
that he couldn't believe that he would risk his son's scholarship. And so that's why he fell for it. But I'm like, still, dog, you already, he had already been through some recruiting stuff with his son. And you know that's not how it works.
Right.
It don't work that way. I don't care who it is. Dion, it could be got dog Michael
Right.
Jordan,
But
whatever,
but
dog.
but
You
but Kev, let me ask you this. Let's keep it
yeah,
real. Like me and you gonna talk real on this. I
all
got you
right.
on that. I think the problem is today is what the parents and the kids is chasing. They
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 fan,
they they never were
fan.
chasing the scholarship. I seen one article that said I just wanted to go meet Dion.
That's what it is.
Okay, but dang, come on now. I want the scholarship. Forget me, Dion. But just the stuff that I read or the videos I seen, if you really thought about what bro was telling them folk, it was wrong. Cause Kevin, you know, man, come on. If when you had Bryce Ramsey and all them guys, and if you took 4 or 5, if you told Georgia, hey, I'm bringing 5 more guys with me, they gonna treat them
You
guys
know,
just as good as Bryce. And I told somebody this. I remember back in 2015, I had a parent, a quarterback. He said, hey, every offer you get my son, I give you 2,500. And I looked that man in the eye, cabinet, promise you. I said, bro, I can't do it like that. I said, because if I didn't have no ethic and I was scamming, dude, I just call the coach and say, give him an offer. That don't mean nothing. Do that. I can't do that. Even when a coach come to me and throw an offer at a kid that I know ain't no real offer, I can't go tell that kid, bro, you got an offer, but especially not these days because the first thing they do, go to the social media. Thank
and
God I
put it
just got an offer by this
on.
school. And dude, you don't even understand how the game is played. They don't even understand how the game is played. And that's the sad thing that I be trying to tell people. You know, I know one kid now got some offers. He's sitting there count offers, not trying to commit to nothing. He trying to man, I'm up to 35 offers. Bro, they would disappear, especially in these times. These times it's a doggy dog business, man. So, you know, I wish I could get across the people with that. But again, if you want to meet the movie stars, and hey, that's what they were paying for, to meet the movie stars, not for what the bag really was. You know, and
Yeah,
again, I
yeah,
think
they fans
right,
of
but I,
Dion.
I think I
It,
seen one article, Kevin, that said the kids supposed to travel with him and his son, and the school was gonna set up the flight and everything, but you had to pay for it. Man, that's the biggest recruiting
yeah,
violation in America.
that's my homeboy. Look,
Oh
listen.
man,
Listen, they had to pay for their own flights, all this stuff. They were supposed to get a VIP car, come pick them up, and take them. They
that's an
gonna have,
official visit.
they gonna have the experience with Dion, your one on one. You know, your experience
Oh
with
man.
Dion Sanders. Like, yeah, man. People love that kind of stuff
I
right
ain't
there.
gonna lie. I might have gave him some money on that myself if I was to have VIP. And
Nah,
what people don't know, Kevin, let's talk about this. Cause I know you done been to plenty of official visits and been in the back room with the coaches. Them head coaches. Them head coaches ain't just out there freely where you gonna get around them. They'll be in the room with you 5 minutes, shake your hand, throw your hand up, but you ain't going nowhere. They just will take a picture with you. And you talking about
listen,
somebody like Prime, God day.
it gotta be something they want from you. Now, if I got product, it's just like life before this. If I got product,
Right.
people coming. And
Correct.
so if I got product, I can get behind that door.
Correct.
Now, I mean, I ain't gotta wait to get behind that door. Listen, I done been in situations because look, South Georgia's a long way from any school except for maybe Florida State, Florida, Central Florida. Other
Right.
than that, if I'm going to Miami, I'm going to Georgia. And so we go there. We had to go to the spring game, go to whatever game, and then they say, okay, we got meetings.
Right.
First thing I say is, look, dog, I got a 5 hour drive from Athens.
Right.
I got a 5 hour drive from Miami. Can we go first?
Correct. Correct.
So they say, hey, you got DJ Dallas, you got Bryce Ramsey, you got whoever you got. Like, hey, these boys need to get back to South Georgia.
Right.
So we gonna skip some people.
But
That show how important you want to see me.
right.
If I say that and you ain't gonna put me in front of some people and these boys going right here to Atlanta or these boys going back to Carroll City and
Right.
you gonna see them first, then I already know what the deal is.
Right.
You ain't want me in the first place.
But
We
but
ain't coming back.
but go here though, Kevin.
Yeah.
The reason why you got that VIP card, like I got the VIP card, came through experience. We didn't start doing this yesterday. We built
Right.
relationships with
Right.
these coaches when they want nothing, when they were
Well,
little
like you said,
GAs.
I like what you told me earlier. I didn't know that was Sharon Moore at the time,
Right,
but now I know, and so that makes me understand. Like, shoot, so get to Michigan, story tell, like, whoa, you
correct,
know what I'm saying? But that ain't like you say, that didn't come overnight.
right,
He wasn't a head coach then. He
right,
was a position coach, and
right,
now he's a head coach now. And so, like you say, longevity,
right.
experience, seeing faces, knowing what you have.
So why different? I got another for you. So you remember the running back coach came down,
Oh my boy,
Jaden Everett, that came down
yeah,
to see you.
yeah.
You know that's the running back coach at Minnesota now.
Well, I already know that's my guy.
Right,
That's my
but
guy.
but that's what I'm trying to establish to people is you don't know who knows who, and me and you been in this game 20 plus years.
I
Okay,
like what you said. I like what you said though about Jaden because this is the thing. This is the thing that you've never been afraid to do. I've never been afraid to do. I'm not intimidated by somebody else having my contacts.
correct,
The contact is for the kids. If you
correct,
got the contact and you got a kid, then dog, that helps the kid. So I
correct,
don't mind giving you the contact. I ain't trying to hold nothing back from
correct,
nobody.
correct,
Like I don't try to pass it on because look, South Georgia ain't but it's this big, but I ain't gonna be here forever. So
correct,
I want to try to pass it on to people who gonna look after the kids the same way. So if you call me about a coach, guess what I do? Boom.
correct.
Now I call you about it, coach. Guess what you do? Let me get you in contact with.
Correct, correct.
So yeah,
Don't. Hey, what these new cat do? Hey, man, I'm gonna call for you, and I'm gonna talk for you. No, cat, but here's the number right here. Call him.
cause you finna
There you
jack it.
go. Call him.
You finna jack that up for me because I don't even want to talk about that. I'm trying to find out the real deal. I ain't actually. I'm trying to find out where my guy at on the board.
Correct.
Do we really need to take the trip? Cause we ain't gotta take the trip.
Say that one more time, because that's something that I preach to all my guys. Is the first thing you got to do is get on the board. And then I tell my guys and my kids, and they look at me crazy. We got a camp invite. They invited me to a game. I said, oh, let me pick up the phone and see where you at on the board. And when I called Kevin and I said, I got John Doe, who coach? Where you from? Oh, no, we ain't making that trip. But if coach said, yeah, but tell me a little bit more. Okay, we really want to get to know him. We really want to do this. And you remember back in the day, I ain't gonna call no name, but we had some other cats up in Atlanta. You'd have put them boys on the bus and say, such and such, if you come to their camp, they're gonna offer you. And know they were lying about it because a couple of kids, I had already talked to the coach and said, man, we ain't interested in no linebacker. But all of a sudden, because he had the big name and he had to get the trip paid for to go, then that thing.
Everybody else gotta pay.
Right, but now I'll tell you something I miss, Cap. And I don't know that you ever experienced this. I'm sure you did. I remember one year, man, that before all the new rules came in play, we went to NC State, man, on the bus to a camp. Man, them joker paid every one of us $300 to work the camp. Every coach I had with me. Now, them were the good old days. Boy, I was out there doing it big. Matter of fact, the kid from Columbus, they ended up going to Louisville, the Pass kid, I think his name was Pass, quarterback. Yeah, yeah.
Jawan.
He was up there, man. Hey, I had him throwing the deep ball and everything. But those were the good old days. And what I try to explain to my parents that I deal with, and even on the show, man, I paid for my experience. You know what I'm saying? I paid, like you said, me and you, we'll walk in the University of Georgia, Florida, shit, Colorado, whatever, and we ain't starstruck. We want to know who the man in charge. I ain't got time to look at your uniforms. I can care less about your stadium. Let's chop it up and tell me what you like about this kid, and let's talk. But now it's all about let me get a picture. Somebody asked me, Kevin, a friend of mine out of Warner Robin, matter of fact, asked me a couple years ago. He said, man, Dre, I've been knowing you for years. He said, but why you don't never have pictures with Rusty and Chad and so on and this person, that person? I said, dude, go ask them who I am, and they'll tell you I don't have to take pictures to build my brand, Kevin. And I can say the same thing about you. I ain't really never seen you in a picture talking about, man, we just committed here, we just signed here. I don't want nobody to know I was in the room because to me, that's that kid and his parents reward, and that's for them. I'm moved on to the next one, trying to get the next one in while they celebrating over there. And I think these days, again, man, and I'm gonna say it like this, and I go deeper into this. I say it like this: these days, Kevin, you got too many coaches and too many people that claim jumping and ain't really and don't even got a clue what they talking about and telling these kids all these lies. And what make me so mad, the dang kids believe it. And then when somebody like me and you tell them the truth, they tell them we don't know what we talking about. We a hater. Ain't that what I think that's the word they use? We're a hater. And I done learned over the years, let me be a hater. Go on over there, but you'll be back before it's over. And sure enough, they come back. Man, they ain't
But
do me right.
the problem I've always encountered is when you're talking to people and you're trying to tell them something and they don't listen, and then at the end of the process and they ain't got nothing, then they want to come back and they want and then they want, and I end up still helping. I don't want to, but I still end up helping because if you ask, I'm gonna help. But if
Right,
you don't ask, I'm gonna watch you do your thing and whatever, and I'm just gonna, do what you gotta do. But it's so funny how many people then came later on and said, "Man, I should have listened."
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man.
Right. Let's talk about this. I know we ain't got too much long, man. We'll be on here all night. But I want your opinion on this.
Uh-oh.
Last year, Cam, last summer, I did my little bus tour, did my camps. Bro, even the college camps watered down now. They ain't what they used to be. And you remember back in the day, and it's certain camps that I didn't go through this with, but some I did. Back in the day, if we was on at camp, dude, we out there on the field with the coaches. We in that coach. Yeah, this my boy right here. But then now you got some of these schools don't even, or it's an NCAA violation that go out there. So I tell the schools, bro, I ain't no fan. If I can't be on the field, I ain't coming to your camp. I'm not bringing nobody to the camp. But what was so sad was they don't even treat these kids the same back to camp. Back in the day, they at least act like they were interested. Now, them are pretty much, hey, just pay your money, man, to go work with the GAs. If you're experiencing the same thing, it just seems like all of it watered down now.
Well, I think it all is watered down. My problem is I push the envelope every time. I'm special when it comes to that. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't hear what. Like I
You
might be
tell
trying
you walking on
I,
through the gate,
I might be drinking a nutrition drink. You know what I'm
right?
saying? For the nutritionists. I don't know. I didn't know we couldn't be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
But but yeah, man, it's all but some schools do better than others.
right, right.
Some schools do better than others. Some schools, and it shows in wins and losses too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
uh I experienced some schools ain't gonna offer somebody until Rusty or Chad or
right,
Keith or anybody, any of these names or Jake or anybody else say that they the guy.
right,
Then some schools gonna like, you can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, check this. You send the film, and they actually go through the film."
right, right,
These are the schools. I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix. Some schools recruit and really recruit.
right.
And then some schools go for all the 5 stars. And like, if you get enough of the 5 stars, you got some players. You
Yeah,
got some.
but Kevin, let's go back. If you get a handful of dogs that they ain't notified as a 5 star, you got a hell of a team at the same time now. But
You gotta go.
I tell you one event, one camp, man, all that
Hmm.
used to go to, man, that I love, but they stopped doing. You remember when Georgia used to do the dog night?
Dog night, dog. Ain't
But,
nothing but
but,
some. Ain't
hey,
nothing but
hey,
pure D. Go get it.
if,
Listen,
if you was
and
an
then and
athlete,
then. But
and,
listen,
uh,
listen. Then when they split it, you remember they split the dog night. They did the younger boys, like the upcoming ninth graders and 10th graders,
right,
and then the older kids. Now them young ninth graders and 10th, boy.
Right.
I'm talking, you
I,
talking about some firefight.
I love that dog night, especially. But they work the dog crap out of her first. Then they start doing the football stuff. So if you ain't coming that thing in shape, boy, it ain't even matter because you play or not. You're gonna be too tired, man. But
Yeah,
but again, I say a lot of this stuff, man, is done changed, and even the people around it done changed. And the loyalty, again, I'm gonna go back to this. Me and y'all, me and I gotta put Dundee in here now.
yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes,
all
sir.
of us, we gonna talk trash everywhere we go. But
Yeah.
let somebody say something wrong about Calvin Wilson, or vice versa. Oh no, bro, that's my
Yeah.
boy. Y'all got to back down, back now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but we gonna talk trash, and we gonna call, hey Cam, what you got going out of this camp? I got this. Well, I'm breaking this. I got to load up on this. But nowadays, man, I'm gonna get off the athletes for a minute. Nowadays, the problem is the ones that lead them. That's where I got.
Say that again. Say that again.
It's the ones that leading the guys now. Is the guys that like for example, Kevin. I've been to a camp. Guys
Mhm.
come in here all undisciplined, doing their own thing, wearing what they want to wear, cussing out the coat. Bro, we ain't never had that. That wasn't our standard. If we said let's load up, but that line straight, ready to go. But what are some of these people now teaching the guys? That's where I got a problem with is if you're gonna lead them right. Don't lead them wrong. But a lot of the guys I think never that's leading them now never got trained and taught correctly themselves. That's the way I look at it.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that because I can say this: any athlete that we know that's out there right now that's been successful, and when I say successful, maybe played at a D1 caliber or went to the pros, that's leading some of these kids, they leading them the right way.
Right.
It might be some of these dudes that wanted to be
Correct.
something. And I ain't saying I was all that. All I
Correct.
know is I know how I was taught.
Correct.
I know how I know what an athlete looked like. I was an athlete. And so for that, I ain't gonna let you do any kind of thing. You
Right.
ain't gonna be acting any kind of way. But if I'm in it for me, if I'm in it just for me, then I don't care what you do.
Right.
You
Well,
know, and a lot of these dudes are living through and by these kids.
right. And I'll say this. Yeah, we know athletes, but I'm gonna tell you what my thing is too. I
Hmm.
use my core values in life or my life experiences that I've been through, and I see myself over and over and over again in these kids. And I really want to go to them and say, young brother, don't turn left. Keep it straight because they ready to turn left or they ready to turn right, and that ain't where they need to go. They need to keep it straight. But I don't see a lot of people, and a lot of people scared of these young cats now. And instead of saying, "Look, boy, you gonna do it like this," they say, "Oh, you want to go left? Go ahead. You ain't really got to come on time. No, I'm gonna hold you accountable because that's what's gonna make the man out you at the end of the day." And everybody don't go pro. Shit, everybody don't go to college. But when I see a kid, Calvin, that I done dealt with 15 years ago or 20 years ago and said, Coach, I got a son, I need to get him with you, and I gotta get him with you because you did this, and this. And I'm saying, boy, I forgot I even did that to you. But that means that I stamped that kid
Yes.
and I made a difference in that kid's life. And to me, that's what the business is about. And that's why I like talking to guys like you versus some of these younger guys because they have no clue. They have no clue themselves. I seen them instead of grabbing a kid and hugging them and say, "Hey, bro, did you eat last night?" They rather say, "Man, that dude does a bad apple. He ain't here no nothing. Go on, man, get out of here." But only thing the kid might want is you to give them a apple or something to eat. But they can't identify that everybody ain't come from the same side of the track, basically. You know what I'm saying, Kevin? I know you understand what I'm saying because me and you done had a lot of talks. Because even in the day,
Right.
everybody, I coach down in Hancock, the poorest county in the state. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I made sure I fed all them kids after practice. Okay, I made sure we fed them before practice, and that what came out of my pocket. But to me, those are the guys that I'm looking for, and it's only a handful of us still out here. You, I can put them on my hand. Me, you, that really cares, and I wish we can get these parents that's listening to understand guys like us. We're on something totally different than some of these new cats. You know what I'm saying, Kevin? And always been on something different.
Well, look, man, I got a story today. This has happened today. I left practice today down here, and me and my grandbaby, we together all the time, and
I was gonna ask you about her, man. I ain't seen her on the social media lately.
yeah, I know. Me and her would go to practice, and we coming from practice. I seen some people I knew, and so I pulled over on the side of the road, and we got out the car, and we walked over. We were walking across the street, and when we got out the car, some young boys were coming from practice, right? They
Okay,
pulled up on the side of the road. They like, yo, Unc, you all right? You all right? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And so I went over and talked to my boy. He's like, oh man, little boy. I said, you know, I got no benches now. The boys will jump out about me. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
And that's the thing. You know, you can go anywhere I can go anywhere in the 912, dog, and like I'm good
right, right,
because of because of what I've shown, what I've done, the impact, the closeness that we don't have with these kids, the understanding that everybody ain't got it.
correct,
You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got it like that.
right.
Like
But if one eat, everybody eat. It,
everybody
and we
gotta
got
have
one
it.
piece of bologna. Everybody get your little corner,
Yeah.
and boy, we got to
This,
do what we got to
this,
do.
this is a true story. This is true. Me and Dundee talk about it all the time. We've been on the when you see us on the road, dog.
Right,
We had nothing. Not me and him. We had nothing. Me and him was eating double cheeseburger. I call this meat, potatoes, and got doggone steak potatoes and got doggone dessert. We used to eat a $1 double cheeseburger, $1 fry, and $1 apple pie.
right,
$3. We spent $3 for our meal. Every meal. Me and him ate that. The kids, they ate.
right. But but
They ate.
but you know what though, Kevin? See, you hitting it on the mark again. The reason why is because y'all care. It wasn't about how much money you can make or this or that. It's because you care. And because you care, that's why every one of them kids that y'all ever touch ain't nothing but a phone call away.
But guess what? We can make the money now, so y'all come on, let's go get this money. They get it away. I
Right.
said, man, just think about this. This is the truth. I think about this all. Man, if this NIL would have hit then,
Boy. boy. Look, it needed to hit in the 80s, Kevin, to be honest with you.
but listen, think about this. Like you said, at that camp, Derrick Henry, 15 minutes down the road,
Right. But
Bryce Randall,
I'm gonna tell you somebody.
JJ.
You remember
Go
the
ahead.
twins, the one that both of them
Yeah,
went to Seattle. One had the one arm. All of them was
yeah,
there.
they were down there,
Yeah,
all them.
yeah,
And the other twins that went to UCF, the
yeah.
two
That's what I'm talking
cornerbacks.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
No. But it was two more. It was two more
Okay.
twins. They went too. They went there too.
So let me say this for the record. But we brought all the trophies back to Georgia though, didn't we?
All the trophies, baby. All the
I think we
trophies.
left one trophy down there. That's what Derrick Henry got. We couldn't do nothing about that.
Dude, but then him was with us.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm just saying, he with us. He was with us. I'm just saying, we had all that. We go down there and get it every single time. Cause them boys was out of Tampa.
Right.
But it was some twins out of Orlando. Two
Okay.
little short.
Okay.
I can't think of their name, but they were identical twins. Them boys were bad too.
Right.
But we went at it all the time with them cats.
Right.
Every time. Orlando, we go to Orlando and battle.
Right. Right. Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all was down in Florida more than y'all was in Georgia, like you said. Cause y'all right there on that line.
We on the line. So we go down there and get them. We go get them.
Right.
You know, and that's why we missed out on a lot of the publicity in Georgia because them dudes went down there.
Right.
You know, Rusty and Chad and them, they was think about this now. Rusty and Chad and them was working the scout camps down in Orlando, and they wasn't the writers then.
Correct. Correct. correct,
We talking about Scott Kennedy.
correct. But see,
My guy,
but
Scott Kennedy, no.
but
You
see,
know what I'm
but
saying?
see, that's what I'm saying, Kevin. We saw the trend. We saw when Rusty and Chad, heck, were with Scout.com, did they'll go to
They were
rivals?
handing out T-shirts. They were handing
Correct,
out T-shirts.
correct. Until where they at now, and then people say they don't know the history. They don't know who put what in. But let me do this, man. Cause listen, like I said, man, we'll be over here all night. Let me get you to the what y'all got going or what you got going on this summer or what you got going on down your way that people need to know about.
Well, it's so close to June the 1st, man. It's so June 1st is when college camps can open up. Now I know DJ Dallas is having his annual camp this weekend, but this for the younger kids,
Okay.
stuff like that. And then I know Tommy Castellanos just had Florida State
Right,
quarterback. He just
right.
had his camp in Waycross. And
Okay.
so right now, he kind of focuses on finding out who having mega camps. You want to hit mega camps.
Right,
If you a guy that nobody know, you want to hit a mega camp where you can see more schools instead of having to travel to every school that want to see you. Like tell them come down to the mega camp. They can see you at Kennesaw. They can see you at Mercer, and
right,
then you concentrate on the schools. Really, you kids and you parents need to concentrate on the schools that don't show interest in you. Don't go somewhere where they hadn't showed interest in you, especially if you were 26 guy.
right,
Like you almost done. 27, you start concentrating on the schools that done came to see you, done said we want to see you at the camp or whatever, and go camp. The earlier you camp as a 28 and 29, the earlier you get yourself on the board. And not only that, the earlier you understand how to compete.
right,
Listen, sometimes you're gonna get beat in a rep, but I want to see how you respond when you
correct,
get beat on
correct. And
a rep.
and, and that's what they don't understand. They think because I got beat, they ain't worrying about you got beat. They want to know that you go and pout or you throw with your helmet, this and that.
The two wrong responses is to put your head in the sand and don't try to get another rep.
Right,
And the other response is you want to try to fight the guy.
right, right,
The main number one response is because I need to see you again and
right,
again and again, because you might be the best out here. I'm hoping you the best out here. Because I don't need to just lose to no regular cat. I
right,
need to be losing to the best, the all conference, the all American guy. That's the guy I need to see every time.
right. Listen here, I got a challenge for you. You coming up to the Kennesaw camp? I think it's the second and the third. Y'all coming their way?
I don't know. They need to talk to me. I need
I,
to talk to them.
I got you. Hey. They called me back. I just got to connect. And on my way home, I'm gonna put you in the group text. Cause look,
Yeah.
Calvin, if we don't do
Because
nothing
we
else,
need to
man,
we need to talk. Because
right?
yeah.
Cause look, if we don't do nothing else this summer, bro, let's meet up one more time somewhere because again, you halfway across the state, I'm up in Atlanta, man. But it ain't nothing but been love, love, love for the last
For sure.
15, 16 years. I know sometimes we talk to each other. You calm me down, I calm you down, and we both
Right.
be ready to go blow up the world. But man,
Yeah.
first of all, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
For
I know the
sure.
fans gonna want to see again. Then look, I'm waiting to get my invite to your podcast too now. So
For
so
sure.
we can
But
do
you're
some
gonna have
stuff.
to come down. I let it do it in the studio. I
Listen,
know I'm
for you, I'll come down. I'll
okay.
make a trip down the road.
That's good. And when
Down
you
there.
say when you say talking each other off the ledge, all I be wanting to do is slap somebody.
Right,
That's it.
right. I know. Listen, I know. I know. Hey, that's why I always stay at your friend, man. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no. Man, I appreciate you, man, and
Yeah, man.
appreciate you coming on, and we'll holler. Appreciate you, Cap.
Love, bro.
All
Love.
right.